you don't know by now, I bought myself a Jeep. You probably know because I like to tell everybody that I meet. That rhymed and that was unintentional, but you're welcome. So far, the worst thing about my 2018 JK Unlimited is the factory in-dash radio. In 2018, it was fantastic, I'm sure. Dude, it's gotta go. No nav. The Bluetooth, I can't even get it to connect to my phone. No backup camera. And it's like, it's tiny. Yeah, it's bigger than that. It's a 7-inch double din. I started reaching out to companies, seeing if they'd be interested in sending me a product to do a video on. This company replied and said, yeah, we think it's great. As always, I let them know in advance, look, if your product sucks, I'm gonna say it sucks because that's who I am. I'm not gonna just shill some shit and say it's 5 stars if it's not. They understand and they agreed, and they said, hey, we're confident in our product that you can be 100% truthful in your videos. I guess you could consider this sponsored then, because they did provide me this in-dash radio free of charge to review and talk about it, check it out, see if it's something that maybe you guys would be interested in. Something you may not know about me, in a previous life, I was actually the install bay manager at a custom audio shop back in, oh my gosh, what was that? So that was like 2006 to 2010. Yeah, somewhere around there. So it's been a while since I've had my hands behind a dash. Most of the things we did were, audio, video, security, remote start kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot about the industry, about electronics, about Ohm's Law, all of that stuff. All that to say, let's see if I burn my Jeep down doing this. So I looked into this brand. It's not a Pioneer or an Alpine. I wouldn't say a knockoff, it's just an off-brand. They're actually the OEM. The guy I talked to was part of the company, not just a reseller. And it's an Android OS, basically, within a big 13-inch screen. Anyway, let's look at this a little bit more. So this company, they do make these custom Android stereos for more than just Jeeps. Like they've got them for Dodge trucks and Tacomas, and I'll leave a link to this specific radio that I'm reviewing down below in that pinned comment. So it's supposed to be all in, like all the things that are needed should be in this kit. Been a long time since I've been in that world, but this is what my dash looks like now, and we'll see that here in a minute when we go out and install this. This is what it's supposed to look like after, so I don't know. That's really big, which will help me because I'm old and blind now. Let's see, 4G built-in, 4G LTE. So it looks like there's a little SIM slot here if I wanted to do cellular service in the car. So it does support Android Auto and CarPlay. 8-core CPU, 4 gigs of RAM, and 64 gigs of probably eMMC storage. You'd be spending $1,000, $1,200 for a good, Pioneer or an Alpine. All right, well, let's go out and see what's in the box, what's included with this whole system. Okay, so it came in just a plain Jane brown box. No like real labels or anything, but a lot of stuff from Amazon does. You've got your product SKU on it, inside the box. Got lots of foam packing, a bag of cables, more cables. Let's see, a bezel of some kind it looks like, and our screen. Holy shit. It's like a freaking iPad. I mean, I thought technology came a long way when I was doing this. I remember installing Alpines that had an entire separate brain. It was the size of a tablet, but it was like super thick and heavy, and it had a bunch of different plugs and wires that went to it. Now this all comes in one tiny little package. Look at the size of this thing. There's nothing to it. So this is not gonna be like a full tutorial on how to install in a Jeep. Really, I'm gonna Frankenstein this and hope it comes out okay. Boy, I am really washed out here. Hold on. A little bit better, not perfect, but whatever. Still figuring this out in the garage.
2 hours later.
I've been using this thing for about a week now. I wanted to talk about actually using it because that's what's important. It looks great and it's cool to see a big 13-inch display in your dash, but if it works like shit, there's no point in having it, right? Since I did the initial installation, I went ahead and bought a third-party backup camera that's made for Jeeps to go in the fifth wheel. The one that it comes with is just this little camera, and you can find some place to mount it, I'm sure, or if you don't have a fifth wheel up on your back door, you know, maybe that would work, or if you're in a different vehicle, because they make these for more than just Jeeps. The quality on this camera, I don't know if it's the camera or if it's the head unit. It's probably partially the camera, mostly the installation. I don't think I gave it a very good ground, but let's look at this backup camera real quick. I don't know how good you can see the quality. It's really bright out today. But I mean, you can see what's back there. It's just grainy. It's real grainy. It had one cable to connect from the CAN bus module to the wiring harness to allow for the camera to automatically turn on when you put it in reverse. It takes a second, but that's fine. The audio on this with factory speakers is garbage, but the audio on anything with these factory speakers is garbage. They were 8 ohm paper cone speakers. 8 ohm speakers. No wonder they sounded like shit. If you're gonna get one of these, make sure you keep a microfiber cloth in the car. It is very responsive, which is great. You don't want it to not be responsive, you know. The map that comes with it is garbage. The application, the iGo Maps app or whatever, is garbage. I end up using Google Maps most of the time. What I would recommend if you get something like this model, or really any kind of Android head unit, right? Create its own Google account so that everything is synced just to the car, unless you really want your emails and shit in your car. I didn't want like my pictures or any of my apps and data and stuff to sync with what's in the vehicle. So I made it its own standalone Google account, and it's so far worked out just fine. You can get anything you want in the Play Store, of course. The one app I did get was Spotify. What I do is just turn on hotspot on my phone and I've got internet. You know, I've got unlimited data on a hotspot on my phone. It does come with Netflix already pre-installed for some reason. There's a Android Auto or Apple CarPlay app here, the Z-Link app. I don't use it. I don't use Android Auto, but that's just me. Again, I like having everything here. I don't want this system and this system to interact much. It does get hot. I mean, it's sitting on the dash. It's a giant like iPad on your dash, basically. So it's gonna get hot to the touch, at least on the outside. You can change the fan speeds like we can see right now. I mean, it's 97 degrees. Wow, you can't see that very well. But it's 97 degrees outside, and my CPU temperature on the dash and the unit in dash is less than 70 C. So that's gonna come in handy when I start mining crypto on this head unit. One thing it doesn't have is satellite radio, which isn't too big a deal because I don't have satellite radio, although it sucks because when I bought this Jeep, they gave me like 3 free months of satellite radio with my purchase. I mean, that kind of sucks that I don't have that, but not that big a deal. Off the back of the head unit, there's these USB pigtails, right? So I just slap a flash drive full of music. You could put videos on here if you really wanted to, and just let it sit in the glove box. What don't I like about this, I think, is it feels aftermarket. And for some people, that's fine. For me, that's fine. Some people, that may be a challenge. It does feel aftermarket-ish. There are some things that integrate into the radio, like check this out. We're on the main screen here. I'm just gonna open up my driver's side door. We can see that here on the side, it pops open, picture of the car with the door open. And when I shut it, it shuts it and goes away. It would do that for any of the 4 doors in the vehicle. So at least this system is integrated enough in the car, it knows that. And my steering wheel controls worked out of the box. There's a way to go in and program those if you want custom buttons to do custom things. I just got used to the default layout as it comes out of the box, and it works fine. The FM radio on this is shit, but I think that's just the vehicle. Like, I've got one of those little mini antennas that looks like a 50 cal, and I'm sure it gets shitty reception, but I don't listen to the radio myself. If I had one of those giant mast antennas, I'm sure it'd be a lot better. It does have an ability for not just backup cameras, but front view cameras and rear view cameras. So like if I hit this now, it's not gonna go to my backup camera, which is kind of weird because that's what it is. It's a backup camera, but I think that's because it doesn't get the power signal. So if you wanted to hook this up so that it's on when it's always on, or it's on when you push a button, you can do that. I have it set up so that when I put it in reverse, it turns on the backup camera like a backup camera should. But you can also have a front view camera if you're out there crawling on rocks and you want to see what's in front of you, or you're in a parking lot, you're crawling in the mall, you could do that too. And I don't know, I mean, just like anything, it's gonna take some getting used to. The Bluetooth phone on this is another bad feature. Maybe it's because of where I have the mic. This is really the only place I could find to put the microphone. It's here on my A-pillar right there. Just because, I mean, it's a Jeep. There's not much I can, you know, there's only so many panels I can tuck wires behind and stuff. Anyway, the people I've talked to on the phone when I'm using it say that it sounds like I'm very far away and there's a lot of road noise. But the Bluetooth streaming, like if I put Spotify on here and streamed it to here through Bluetooth audio, works great. I give it 4.5 stars out of 5, just because there are a few nuances that I wish it did differently. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. You know, I think it looks fantastic here on the dash. Like even walking up to the Jeep, you can definitely see a big difference there. It looks a lot better than stock, that's for sure. Installation on this went really smooth for the most part. I'm big on test fitting before I put the dash and shit all back together. I want to test it. Don't do that with this. Once I snapped it into that bezel, there was no getting it out from the front unless I broke it. So I actually had to remove the bezel with the radio attached to it, unplug everything, take it over to the bench, jimmy it out of the bezel, and then put the bezel back in, put the dash back on, and then put this back into place. Just keep that in mind if you're installing this in any vehicle. Don't snap it all the way in until you're done, until it's ready to be in place forever and ever, amen. Because I won't be able to get this off. Or if I want to put more cameras in this or something, if I need to get back behind there, I don't know how I'm going to do that. But like I said, I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. For 600 bucks, you could do a lot worse. For 1,200 bucks, you could do a little bit better. Double the cost for a little bit better, it's not worth it for me. I think this is a really good sweet spot at the price for what you get. And of course, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment down below if this is something you want to check out. They've got this set up for a bunch of different vehicles. So if you made it this far in the video and you learned something today, smash that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel get recommended to others. If this is the kind of video that you like to see, consider subscribing for more like it. And of course, thanks for watching.